Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Honours even at Anfield. The only honour that matters to Liverpool fans is the guard of honour. And you know what? That's where I want to start. I think sometimes you've got to be humble and gracious in defeat. And I think as a fan base, we've been that for the majority. You get some of the immature, naive ones that are blaming people and everybody else but us. I think what we need to do is congratulate the team that are the champions. And of course, that is Liverpool. We knew that before the game. The guard of honour happened. We were classy about it, as we always are as a club. And I think the fans deserve an unbelievable amount of credit, particularly those that travelled today. Fair play to you, man. You've travelled all the way up to Liverpool knowing that this game means pretty much nothing in terms of a title. You know it means something for Champions League football, but we want more than that. We want to see more than that. We want to believe that we're better than that. And unfortunately, for us this season, it is going to be a top 4 and trophyless season. And we can talk about another time what happens next. For me, let's talk about this game in isolation. First 10 minutes, Arsenal were the better side. Could have and should have been 2-0 up. A brilliant, brilliant free kick from Ødegaard. More on him in a bit. Superb. Pinpoint for Saka, who has to do better. It's on his favoured foot. He's got all the time in the world. He can take a touch. He can deliver. And you know what? He's failed there. He's got to hit the target and score. For me, he's got to work the goalkeeper to hit that really softly, badly, and misplace it, and then to put it wide. I thought was pretty poor from Bukayo Saka. I've got to be honest. He's got to do better there. And I'm a big fan of him. I love him. I love how he's come back and how he's looked. But for me, Bukayo Saka needs to do better there. And not only that chance, we could have put ourselves 2-0 up. Partey wins the ball back after sloppy play at the back from Liverpool. And then Trossard just gets in his way. Now, two things has got to happen there for me. Thomas Partey's got to just say, no, this is mine, and hit it. But if he doesn't fancy it because he's on the swivel and it's difficult for him, he needs to at least allow Trossard some time in his mind, which is where I kind of blame Trossard more, really, to actually step back and say, give this to me, lay it off to me. Or Trossard's just got to say, leave it and hit it and put it in, because that should be a goal. Now, whether that makes it 1 or 2-0, it doesn't matter. That should be in the back of the net. And Arsenal were then literally on the front foot. Now, for 10-15 minutes, I thought Arsenal were good and I liked some of our play. However, I didn't like how easy it was for Liverpool to cut us open. There was movement down the wings, there was pace, there was power in their play. And we found ourselves 2-0 down pretty quickly. Within, I think, 90 seconds, we are now 2-0 down. And we are shouting and kicking ourselves yet again, shouting at ourselves for not putting that ball in the back of the net. And that has been the story of our season. We haven't been clinical enough in front of goal. Whether or not you feel we need a new striker or not, I think everybody does believe we do. With the players we've got, we've not been clinical enough. We just haven't. That has to be said. Then I look at the scenario of Liverpool and I think, could we get back into it before half-time? Not really. They dominated. They were in control. Their midfield was better. They were 100% in a position that I think we probably would be disappointed to say that we weren't able to really show enough quality on the ball in the second half of that first half, if that makes sense. And then we find ourselves 2-0 down at half-time. Let's talk about the second half. Second half for me, I was impressed. I thought we were by far the best team. I don't think there was really anybody that could watch the game of football and tell you that Arsenal weren't the team that were on top. It weren't like we were peppering their goal, but we were in a position where we could actually have a conversation about Arsenal looking like they wanted to get back into the game. It was a really good bit of interchanging between Martinelli and Trossard that got us back into it. And I said to James on the watch along, I said, is Martinelli through the middle? And literally, as I said that, Trossard puts the ball in and he gets in between the two defenders. And it's a brilliant header from Martinelli to get us back into the game. And I've called for Martinelli to be through the centre for a good couple of years now, if I'm honest. And I haven't really shouted at it for the last few months because I just know that the manager doesn't fancy it. But all of a sudden today, you can see question marks over why we haven't tried that more in the past. Martinelli through the middle gives us a little bit of something direct. He's got pace, he's got power. And I know that his finishing isn't always brilliant, but I don't think he is a bad finisher. And I think he's proven that he actually can get goals in the air. For me, under Emery, I think he got 10 goals. So I'm a big fan, big fan of Martinelli. I've still got time for him. I've still got love for him, and I would keep him unless a huge offer comes in. I'm talking 60 to 70 M's. I don't think anyone's going to offer that. So for me, he stays at Arsenal. I've been really impressed with him. And I didn't think he was bad today. But we get ourselves into the game. And really and truly, it's a brilliant bit of play from Martin Ødegaard. Now, Martin Ødegaard has been questioned. I've one that said it. I don't think Martin Ødegaard has had a good season. I've always tried to defend him. And today is moments and reasons as to why I've tried to defend him. I saw vision today. I saw weight of pass today. Did he have an outstanding game? No. Was he our best player? Not really. He delivered a pinpoint ball for Saka, which he should have done better with in the first half. And then in the second, I've got to be honest with you, there were some great through balls that he put from, of course, Martinelli. And I've got to say this. I'll say it lastly. Martin Odegaard can do this. Martin Odegaard has delivered. Martin Odegaard is technically gifted. Has Martin Odegaard been consistent? Absolutely not. Does he need to do better? Absolutely he does. Do I need to see more from Martin Odegaard regularly and at the kind of forefront of it? Yeah. Because the next thing I'm going to say about it is not just does he deliver a great ball, is it a good shot, and does it rebound for Merino perfectly? Yeah, it's all good that he's fell onside and it's gone great and we're back in the game, it's 2-2. But there is still a chance for him to actually win us the game. And what's frustrating is he's dragged it wide. He's got all the time in the world to pick his pass. He's got to keep his head, keep his composure. He does all that, and then what does he do? He drags it wide. He's got to work the goalkeeper there. I'm not saying it's a sitter and it's absolutely got to, but for me, Martin Odegaard 100% has to, yeah, put that in. And he's got to work the goalkeeper at least. Look, I'm a big fan of what I see from Odegaard in games. I'm a big fan of what I've seen in glimpses. I haven't seen enough consistency for him. Forget about the captaincy. That's not happening. He's staying as the captain. We ain't stripping him of the armband. That's not going to happen. People that want that to happen, don't get disappointed with it because it isn't going to be the case. Now I'm in a scenario with Martin Odegaard today where I'm thinking, did you have a good game? And I'm looking at glimpses thinking yes and glimpses thinking no. And that moves me on nicely segue to Merino, who I thought at times today looked good, got his goal, got on the score sheet, won some duels, passed it well, used his physical attributes, which I think he always does. And then shows naivety. Now, for a 28-year-old international for club and country, who I would say is probably one of the most experienced now in the game, he's shown a little bit of childish maturity there. That is poor. That is a poor challenge when you're on a yellow card. Yeah? Everybody knows you need to pull out of that. Everybody knows you need to say, no, it's not happening for me. I can't do that. I can't make that tackle. Even if the first one's good, you back out the second. Because putting us down to 10 men there, it frustrated the life out of me because I've got to be honest with you guys. I was in a position where I really truly believed that we could go and win that game. And the minute that red card happened, I just knew it weren't going to. I just knew it wasn't going to. And look, I'm a fan of what Mikel Merino brings at times. I think up top he's shown some bits and pieces, but that was really poor for me. I was not a fan of it. I thought it was dreadful. I thought it was poor. The other games today, Raya, let me talk on him. I get nothing short of peeved when he rolls the ball out or kicks the ball out to our centre-half and he shows some lack of care and spatial awareness. He puts us under pressure. Now, people say to me, but it's the manager who's telling him to do that. Well, don't do it all the time. You've got your own brain. You've got your own logic. And use it. Because for me, when I look at it right now, David Raya, for the rest of that game, after the sending off, was lumping it long. Learnt too late from your mistake, bruv. Yeah? Learnt too late from your mistake. That's what annoyed me the most. Was actually David Raya, I think, knows he doesn't always have to roll it out. And that's what frustrated the life out of me, man. So look, fan of him, needs to do better there. Backline, Ben White doesn't look fit. Looks like he come into the game a bit better, but Timber definitely is better at the moment. Saliba, couple again. Has his head been turned? Is he playing too much? Couple of mad moments, couple of good moments. Kivior again, think he's been fairly consistent, to be honest, since he's come in from Gabriel. Lewis Skelly looks so comfortable on the ball. Can be caught out, but when he's on the ball, he's so strong. Partey today had a really good game, I thought, actually. I looked at him and I thought, you know what, in the second half, he really come into it and he dictated the play. And he was one of the big reasons as to why in the second half we were better. Odegaard I've mentioned, Merino I've mentioned, front three I think I've kind of touched on and mentioned other than Trossard. Now we've got to try and go into this next game against Newcastle without Trossard and Merino. Now, I don't know what he's going to do there, but I imagine Waneri will come into the mix. I imagine Sterling will come into the mix. But one thing that does worry me about Mikel Arteta is he doesn't seem to want to use most of his bench other than left-backs. Bringing on 4 or 5 left-backs today. I think we had Lewis Skelly on the pitch at one stage alongside Tierney, alongside Calafiori, alongside Zinchenko, and then alongside the other left wing-backs that he's played in the time, Martinelli and Saka. I'm like, wow, how many left-backs and left players have we got here? This is crazy. I need to see more from that. I really do. So look, today, fair play. There were some really good things I liked. There were some bits I didn't like. One of those games, really. The fans deserve credit today. The players and manager deserve credit for trying to change it up a little bit and actually bring into play some of the players that perhaps we've question marked over the last couple of weeks. Martinelli's consistency, Odegaard's performances, Merino's positioning and whereabouts. What happened there? What on earth happened? I'll tell you what happened. Car problems. So now I'm back home. Half a video is me in the car. Half a video is me here. It's finished Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. We've got 2 games left. We need to really win them both, but only one's really necessary. But you know what Man City did yesterday against Southampton puts people in nervous mode. You know what happens at Newcastle in the last season. We've seen them beat us 3 times this season. Let's not make it squeaky bum time, Arsenal. Please, do me a favour, people. Hit the like. Hit subscribe. We are very close to 40k. In fact, as we speak, only 36 subscribers away from 40k. Please help. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. We're out.